Hello, everybody. My name is Inez, and welcome to WCEG's Millennial Talk 2.0 Multilingual Intergenerational Conversations. The views of this show do not reflect the views of the WCEG Talk Radio Network. And do not forget to check us out on all of your favorite platforms for podcasting and on your Roku TV, not just this show, but all of the other shows. We have various topics, various hosts from different backgrounds, different status, and everything. So, this will be a great platform for anybody who is looking to grow who they are. So, like I said, I am Ines, and today's episode is not going to be as bright and upbeat as previous episodes have been, and the next episodes will be. But today I had to um, get some stuff off of my chest because, like, it seems like no one cares enough about certain topics. So I figured, let me go ahead and say it. I mean, honestly, I might get fired after today's show. But well-behaved women rarely make history, as they say. So let me go ahead and try. Um, so this is my $1 million thinking cap. If you want one, I suggest you go to shoprichgoddess.com and get you one. I actually met her at InvestFest back in 2023, and it was beautiful seeing all of the products that those entrepreneurs had on display. But this hat spoke to me, and I call it my $1 million thinking cap because every time I wear it, people remember who I am, and it's allowed me to get into spaces and meet people who are beyond the $1 million status. So I couldn't land on one specific subject for today. So what I did is wrote down a whole bunch of subjects that I've always wanted to talk about, but they didn't fit exactly into having their own show. So today we're going to pull them out of the hat. Okay. I got my scissors right here. And I couldn't land on one specific subject, but I'm tired of feeling or pretending like everything is okay because it's not. Everything is not okay right now on a larger scale at like for our country, but globally, what this means for the world. Everything is not okay for me personally. It's just a lot going on because as a Black woman in this country, it's really hard for us to not want to step in and save people and help people. It's really hard for a lot of us to maximize who we are because we have to deal with stuff based off of stuff we couldn't control. We have to deal with situations based on stuff that we couldn't control. So this isn't something that our living generation started, but I had hoped that we could do something to make it better for the next generations, but it seems like not enough people care. I'm not saying everybody doesn't care. I'm saying not enough people care. I mean, if we did have enough people who did care, we wouldn't be in this situation, right? So, with everything that's going on with the government, it's too much to keep up with. It's just, it keeps popping up. And how do we move forward knowing that our leadership doesn't care about us actually moving forward? For example, we not anyone that's living was there when the slave trade started, when people were taken from their homes in Africa and brought here and other countries all over the world. No one was alive when that, no one alive was there when that happened. So why are we still paying for that kind of hatred? It's not something that we chose, but it's something a lot of us have to deal with. Like even in high school, I went to a high school that was very diverse. We had everybody in our class, like every background. We all got along. We didn't have to deal with racism and all of that. Like there was problems because kids will be kids, teenagers are teenagers, but it wasn't based off of what someone's skin looked like. And I really absolutely love that about my school because going to an international baccalaureate program, we were allowed to have international students in our classrooms. But now these same kinds of students will be targeted by the immigration people, La Migra. They will be targeted. ICE will take them out of classrooms, separate them from their families, detain them, and they may never see their families again. They may never be united again. Because why? Because it's good for business, but it's bad for this country. And it's like, how do you want to be the leader of a country if you hate the people in your country? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. What really baffles me is how all these people love to say they love America, the ones that voted for this current president. They love to say they love America and America is the best country in the world. But the thing that makes America great is our diversity. It's how we can get different perspectives from different people and learn from each other, and how we can see those perspectives in a non-threatening way to learn from each other, as I've already said, but also to grow. And that's really what we need. We need growth because we shouldn't be dealing with the same problems that our great grandparents dealt with. But here we are dealing with the same problems. When are we going to grow up as a country? When are we going to grow up? We had an overqualified candidate who worked more than twice as hard to get half as far. But a lot of people didn't vote for her, first of all, because she's a woman. Even though she was highly educated, she knew what she was doing. And they said, oh, where was she during the presidency? Where were you? Where were you? You was minding your business. She was minding her business. She was probably doing more behind the scenes than the people who were getting the recognition for the stuff that she was doing. I mean, at least that's the story of a lot of Black women in this country. So that's why I can assume that she was actually doing stuff. It's just people weren't giving her the credit that she deserves for it. And it was like, I was almost proud to be an American. Well, let me not say an American because people forget that South America isn't America's and Latin America's Central America. They're a part of America and they're a part of the continent that is considered America. So, or North and South America, depends on where you learn it from. So it's just really frustrating that we have a leader who doesn't care about leading effectively. It's frustrating that this trickles down into our everyday lives because this isn't the kind of place that I personally do not want to raise my kids, because I don't want them to have to feel unsafe. I'm folding the papers, the topics for today. Um, I don't want them to have to feel unsafe. I don't want them to have to experience the level of hate that I personally experienced, that my grandparents experienced personally, that you probably know someone who's experienced a lot of hate in this country. I don't want my kids to have to experience this cycle. If I'm going to break generational curses, I need to do different things so that I can get different results. However, it's been very hard for me to feel like I'm going to get those different results in this moment. If if things were different, if we had a different president, my hope would have been restored. I would have been so proud to be American in this moment, not just because she's a woman, not just because she's Black. I would have been proud because we chose the better option, but we did it. So I'm just heartbroken. I've honestly been heartbroken since the decision was finalized. But since he stepped into office and started making executive orders and decisions about things that don't affect him, but it affects us, it's been hurting to see that other people are going to be hurt from this. So today's show is different because I can't fake being happy about all of this right now. Maybe next month I'll be ready to put the smile back on and all of that. But right now it's been too heavy. And I can't just pretend like it's not happening. Like a lot of people think that I'm being over dramatic about my response to his presidency, but however, they weren't me during the first presidency. They didn't understand that I went from this high school that was very diverse into my first year of college. Well, first 2 years of college at a school, South Georgia State College. If I'm going to be exact, I'm going to go ahead and say it. South Georgia State College was the worst college I could have ever attended because I went from living where I lived in a diverse city to living in the 1950s. I was mistreated by the staff that I paid during my student loans. I had to use student loans to take care of paying for classes that repeated stuff I already learned in high school. But we waste the first 2 years of our students' lives in college because they're not getting the stuff that they need to know for pursuing their dreams. They're relearning the stuff that didn't matter in the first place. They're reiterating that information that we already taken tests for, we've already graduated from, but we're relearning that stuff in college for the first 2 years, and we have to pay for it. That was like the biggest con I've ever noticed. So to be able to go to the school, South Georgia State College, I went there because I was like, well, let me get my associate's degree, and that is a whole nother session in and of itself. But because I went to the school and I went in open-minded, like, oh, racism is a thing of the past. And the people who my student loans are paying are actively disrespecting me. I'm standing in line and you talk to the person behind me and tell them to get in front of me? Absolutely not. That is not fair. You're using my financial aid money to pay your bills, but you think that is fair for you to mistreat me? Absolutely not. So that's why if you go and look, Google them, South Georgia State College, I wrote them the nastiest review because I had the nastiest experience. And this was before Trump. So this was, I went into college 2014. The my got my associate's degree 2016. If you remember, that's when he started running, or that's when he became president the first time. And it was absolutely horrendous. My experience with that is because when I was in South Georgia, people already were emboldened with hatred in their heart because of people who have skin who look like mine. And it's like racism is the stupidest thing you could ever deal with because people will hate you for something you can't control. Not one person was in their mom's belly saying, I want to come out looking white, or I want to come out looking black or Hispanic or whatever other racial background that they are. No one chose what they look like. No one chose what their skin looked like. No one chose if they were a female or a male from birth. No one chose their name. So for people to hate other people based off of stuff that they couldn't control is the highest level of ignorance, which is why it was so easy for them to be manipulated into believing that this president cares about them or this country. They say, make America great again, but then it's like, when was it great? The only time that America was great was when we had the opportunity to be better, but we didn't choose that opportunity. We did not. So how can we say that America is great, was great at any point? It might have been good for some people because they benefited from the labor of others for free. And when they benefited and profited from the labor of others, they decided to call the people who were actually working lazy, and I just don't get it. But then again, that takes a different level of ignorance. I can't understand what ignorance is in my mind, because it's like I understand the concept of it because it's like, oh, you're choosing the options that don't make sense. So if you're going to actively continue to choose the options that don't make sense, then of course I'm going to think you're ignorant. If you vote for someone who tells you basically he hates someone who looks like you, and this is for the people who look like us who voted for this person. He hates people who looks like you. He hates people who look like your mom, or not just look like your mom, who have the same private parts as your mom do. And he says that you, or not him specifically, but his group believes that they should decide what you should do with your body because it's good for their business. And they call Black people lazy. I I met some lazy people, but most of the time it wasn't us. Most of the time it was not us. Most of the time it was the people who rely on other people to do the work for them. These were the people who they can skate by because of their skin color, because oh, they don't have to do well. Their parents are rich. They have so much to lean on. So right now it's just I'm frustrated with this country in general because it's like we're supposed to do the campsite rule. What's the campsite rule? It is leaving the campsite better than you found it, right? That's what I was taught growing up, is to make the world a better place, leave the world in better shape for the next generations. But we're actively choosing to make decisions that harm not only our generation continuously, but speed up the process of deteriorating our planet so that the next generation never gets the benefit. So I cut up all of the subjects for today. Um, I'm going to throw them in a hat. I don't know which one's which. I just wrote them all down. It was like a brain dump and printed them off, and here I am cutting them out. So transitioning, because I mean, I got I got time today. Transitioning. I looked at my watch. I got time today, as the song says, right? So other things I'm really disappointed with about not just this country, but in general, this generation is because we have access to our older generation and what they learned the hard way. And us as millennials, that's why I love the show, because I get to talk to I get to have those intergenerational conversations. I get to talk to the older generation. I get to talk to people younger to me. And then us as millennials, we have this very cool way of being able to connect with both. We're the last generation who remembers what life before technology was integrated and or embedded in everything. So we have the stories of our grandparents, but also we have the technology of our kids and our grandkids, our nieces and nephews, or whatever. We have the technology of the younger people and the thoughts of the older people. And it's like we have the opportunity to mesh them together to make this the world that our kids deserve to grow up in. So the first subject, I can't really see it. It says addictions while parenting, social media, and drugs, even if you don't see it as a drug. So if it's taking more time away from your kids than you already have to spend away from your kids, then it's an addiction. Like some people don't see work as an addiction, but because they say these bills aren't going to pay themselves. That's right. But now we live in a time where it's optional to actually physically go to work. But if you have one of those jobs or you're in a specific field and you have to go to your job, that's absolutely fine. But when you get off of your job, how much of your job are you taking with you? Are you still frustrated about that coworker that made you mad in the break room on your drive home? Are you still like are you waking up early and preparing for work and your brain is bogged down because you don't like your job, but you have to go because you got to pay bills, to take care of these kids, to feed these kids. I'm not telling you how to raise your kids, but I am saying your kids need you, because if we are going to improve this world, we have to step up as parents. And that's not saying everyone should homeschool, although everyone should realize that if you are actively raising your child, you are already homeschooling them. So is your job to make sure you're not raising a person who's going to be another messed up person in this world. You can use the F word in there. I can't use it right now. I'm on the air. But it's I'm just tired of people not prioritizing taking care of their kids. First of all, it's like you had the kid. There's Before it was illegal to have abortions. You chose to have this kid. Now you have another person that you have the opportunity to mold them into a great person who will positively contribute to our global community. They will be our neighbors. You're not raising just your kid, you're raising my neighbor. And if you're not raising my neighbor correctly, if you're letting YouTube do all the work, because you're tired from work, but you got time to be on the phone for hours, or you got time to neglect them for hours, even though you're already off work. If the only time they really see you is when you tell them it's time to eat, go to take a bath and go to bed, and get up in the morning, then you're not spending enough time with your children. You might not even know them enough. You're letting TV characters like Blippi and Miss Rachel and whoever else, you're letting them raise your child more than you are spending time with your child. And this is for younger kids. I don't even know what the older kids are watching, because they aren't parents aren't really putting on parental guidelines for them. We have all this access to technology that can help keep our kids kids, but we're choosing to make sure we remove those barriers and allow them to grow up faster than they should. I'm taking it, you should take this from someone who grew up faster than, not necessarily I should have. I grew up faster than most did because I had to. It was just circumstances. So if you have the opportunity to let your kid be a kid, take that opportunity, play with them. Don't just say go play with them. Like, go to the park and go get on a slide with them, go for a walk with them, and see what they were talking, what they want to tell you about. Like, care. That's what I'm asking you to do. Care about your kids. Don't just raise them. Care about who they are as a person. All right, next topic. Let's see this one. This one says, oh, the US is always involved in wars and international disputes, but they never got money to feed our people or build food forests for our own citizens. This is frustrating because it's kids that's going to bed hungry, but we got money for wars. It's kids that's waking up and going to school, and that might be the only meals they get. And we got money for wars. We always, as a country, have been in somebody else's business. If you historically go back and look at how many international disputes, how many wars, conflicts, whatever they want to call it, fancy words for, they're taking money that should be used to take care of our people and putting it in other economies. That's just so frustrating because those countries don't get the chance to grow up and learn from their own mistakes. Yes, stuff might be happening over there, but stuff is happening here and we are not taking care of it. I wish that they cared enough about our own people than they cared about looking big and bad in the world. They're being bullies. The US is being bullies. And I know that that's something controversial to say. I don't care. If you think about it, we always got our nose in somebody else's business, thinking like we're better than other people. But when you go and travel, you realize that we don't really know a lot about other countries. All we know is what they allow us to know about them, unless we actively pursue more knowledge. So I want more people to grow food so that we take care of our own people. Because at this point, it's been proven that our government isn't going to take care of us. So now we have to step up for our neighbor. We have to be the good neighbor. We have to share in ways that we've never thought we would have had to. And we're transitioning into more of less of a democracy and more of a dictatorship or authoritarian kind of leadership. And that's not right, because isn't that what makes America great? Is the fact that we can choose who our leaders are and vote on stuff. I want to be able to vote on what my taxes are used for. And if I'm being honest, I don't believe Black people should be paying taxes in the United States. They never give us our reparations anyway, but they want to take all the good money that we spend on our taxes and then put it into other people's schools and their communities, or funding police that's been taking advantage of their power and harming our communities even more. But yeah, that's that. Next subject. This one says, okay, so this one is about Black people. So Black people, it's not all of us, but it's a large percentage of us. So I'm tired of Black people being selfish by not owning life insurance policies and having the audacity to own a gun. How you already how you owning a gun in this country as a Black person where it's already illegal to be Black? I mean, it's not on paper, but it is on some kind of paper somewhere. Is they got unwritten rules that we can't see, but they know where they are. And you can own a gun, but won't purchase a life insurance plan. You're more likely to put yourself in situations that require you to use a gun statistically if you own one, or be like the victim of gun violence. If you own one, you're more likely to deal with death by gun or killing someone if you own a gun. So if that's the statistic, that you're more likely to deal with death at the hands of a gun, he who lives by the gun dies by the gun, or the sword dies by the sword, whatever. So if you are Black and you own a gun, you need to own a life insurance policy. It's just selfish if you don't, because worst case scenario, your family comes up out of dealing with lower income on a generational level. And what I mean by that is if you set up your life insurance policy right, and you can get the right kind of policy, if you set up your policy right, then you can make sure your family isn't struggling financially after you die. When my sister passed away, it wasn't from guns. My sister had cancer. So when my sister passed away, she had 5 kids, no plan, no life insurance. And when it came time to pay for her funeral, we had a GoFundMe. We had everybody cash apping just so we could try to bury her. We couldn't even afford to bury her. We had to get her cremated because that's the only option we could afford. And we were underprepared as a family unit. It inspired me to get my life insurance license because I know we're not the only family that's dealing with this, but this knowledge isn't taught in schools. All them student loans I got, they never once mentioned the value of having life insurance policies and using that to create generational wealth. How you want to say you want to build generational wealth and break generational curses, but you're not doing anything different. Now it's time for you to do something different. If it's myself or another agent, get life insurance, because it's selfish if you don't. Gun or not, if you have Black skin, they consider that to be a weapon here. So you need to go ahead and get you some life insurance. Next subject. Oh, this one says history repeating itself. Um, this is controversial because Hitler was an evil genius. And because we're watching it repeat itself. We're watching modern day Hitler, modern day Stalin. We're watching how people were brainwashed into hating this group of people, that group of people, and everyone else, that they brushed off the atrocities or the horrible activities that were done against these people. Like right now, with them taking those illegal immigrants to those concentration camps and making them work, and making it legal to execute them. Like, how is this not breaking people's hearts? How can everybody go on about their day as if this isn't happening? Because it's not affecting them. But it's like if we as a people take more time to get to know our neighbors that look like us and who don't, and who communicate like us and who don't, if we take more time to get to know the people around us, we will actually be better off. Excuse me. We will actually be better off. So with us being in this era of technology that we're in, where we have access to people all over the world easily on our phones, where we have this much access to people, yet we lack compassion for people. It's just sad. It's so sad because it's like I've been trying not to lose hope for humanity, but it's really hard right now. I want us to care about people and speak up. I want the right people to speak up. I want people to with money to speak up. But they scared. All that man's rich friends are scared that they won't get what they want to get from him out of this presidency because they're putting profits over people. They're choosing profits over people. Yeah, that's just sad. Because it's like, yeah, I understand, get the money, but when you're hurting your neighbor in the process of you getting ahead, it's not really worth it. That's why so many of them seem like they feel so empty inside. All right, so next subject. It says, I wish it was easier to give our children a better world. Yeah, so I already kind of touched on this. I thought the point of being a parent was to raise more well-rounded people with open minds. I thought it was so that we can be better, but I thought that was the point of parenting. I'm going to continue parenting as if my child's future depends on it because it does to me, but I understand that not everyone thinks like that. Okay, so this one, next subject, it says school shootings and why I decided to homeschool, world school, even though I work in schools. Yes, I work in schools, different school systems. I've been working with schools since 2017, and I don't see any level of improvement for the students that are in these schools. They're falling behind in math, they're falling behind in reading, and we as a country are falling behind even more so on an international level in comparison to other countries who are teaching their kids. And like the countries where weapons, specifically guns, are banned or they're harder to come by, they're having better results academically, but it's easier to lead people who aren't smart or intelligent or whatever. It's easier to lead people who can't think for themselves. And that's why our school systems are set up the way they are, is to raise more people who can't think for themselves, raise more people who don't have a boss mentality, don't have an entrepreneur mentality. They have an employee mentality. Show up on time, work until this time, you get a little break, and then you get back to work. And then during the day, they're dealing with so many distractions in school. Not, it's just not worth it. It's not safe to send, especially Black and Spanish speaking kids to school right now. It's not safe because of the gun violence. It's not safe because of ICE. It's not safe because of bullying. So we decided to, excuse me, world school and homeschool. If you look at my social media handle, you can go check me out on Instagram, YouTube, pretty much all your favorite social media platforms. And I go into more depth about why we homeschool and about our homeschool program. Right now, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so new subject. It says COVID, tuberculosis, and high medical expenses, even with insurance. So I actually recently learned that tuberculosis is making a comeback, and this is awful because aren't we considered to be a first world nation? Yeah. So with tuberculosis, TB, with TB making a comeback, a lot of people don't even know this because of the lack of information being available on the CDC website, the Center for Disease Control. Because there's a lack of information on that website, is or access to information about what's actually happening, people don't know that there's been a TB outbreak and they should be wearing their mask again. People have already brushed off COVID like, it's whatever. But a lot of us in this time frame have known someone or have gotten COVID ourselves, know someone who has experienced COVID or gotten it ourselves. And some of us even know people who lost their lives to it. And in these last few years, due to the amount of stress, depression, everything, and including COVID, it's too much. And again, not to have life insurance for yourself, but also it's too much for us to continue these habits of eating at those fast food restaurants and spending time not eating healthier foods, not growing our own foods. So step up your game. I'm challenging everybody to step it up. If you're already doing good, you already making sure your family is eating healthier and all of that, then I'm proud of you. If no one else tells you they're proud of you, I'll tell you. I have a new card, so new subject. This one's hard. This one is talking about dealing with the late 20s crisis, dealing with depression again, unrealistic timeframes for ambitious goals. So I have for the last, I want to say 8 months or so, I've been dealing with depression again. Just financially, I've just been so frustrated because I know I work too hard to not get the results that I should have by now. Maybe I believe that is I had unrealistic time frames for accomplishing my ambitious goals, not having help. Honestly, for the last almost 15 years since I've been in the workforce legally, I have been underpaid. And now here I am in my late 20s. I'm 29, and I've been going through my late 20s crisis. You know how they have the midlife crisis? I just figured I can't be the only one who's been dealing with the late 20s crisis. So I'm going to just call it that. And maybe other people will understand. Where some people told me when I talked about this recently, someone told me that their late 20s crisis went into their early 30s. I ain't claiming all that. I'm just dealing with the depression. Is not about just the finances and the political climate. It's about the actual climate. Like it's just I'm one person and I can't do what I'm setting myself up to do alone. And I need help. I need help financially, but I have to deal with these bills because the bills be billing. I'm not going to let this stop me from parenting the way I parent and want to parent. I'm not going to let it stop me from showing up from all that I'm called to be. But lately, it has been taking a toll. It's been weighing on me very heavily just because I know for a fact, I know God is going to come through and it's going to be right on time. But I have to develop my patience in order to see it in that way. Because when you're underpaid for more than a decade, living off of credit cards, the weight, I'm telling you from personal experience, it's heavy. And I'm going to try not to cry right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pick another topic. Like I said, a new topic. This one says climate change. This is the first, this one goes into the last one. So when I was abroad, every time I was abroad, whether it was Jamaica or a Spanish speaking country or wherever, every single time I was abroad, I didn't see plastic bags. It's countries I haven't been to that use plastic bags that's convenient, whatever. But as much as we have them here, even when I was in New York, there aren't as many plastic bags as we have, yeah, specifically here in the Atlanta area, and grocery stores and even plastic bottles. So climate change, the people who are in power, they're denying that it exists because if they said that they believe that it's happening, then they would be challenged to have a moral concept of what they should be doing. Like they should be taking better care of our global environment, but it's easier for them to make more money, choose profit over people. When they say, no, that's not happening, that's not real. And then it's idiots who's just like, duh, 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 they believe them. And it's like the same people who say, oh, yeah, he's right, or they're right. There's no climate change. This is fake, or climate change is fake. The people who are saying that are the same people that's like wondering why is 75 degrees on Christmas Day. And even continuing with the climate change, recently, a lot of park rangers just lost their jobs. And I like this is just speculation, but I believe that that land that the park rangers have been working is going to be divvied up, sold, whatever, is unprotected. So now that is even more unprotected, and there's like the people who go and hike or use that nature trail or whatever it is, those people have to pay the cost for the park rangers, which means there's less help for those people who experience emergencies while in nature. It's just sad that so many people lost their jobs, and it's sad that these protected areas, we're about to watch speculation. We're about to watch horrendous activities happening, like the wildfires of California. That was horrendous. And I believe that it was set up on purpose. And I mean, call me conspiracy theorist, whatever. But if you think about it, who benefits if all of those people lose their homes and the all of that land is scorched? It's scorched earth methodology. If you go and look up stuff in history, scorched earth is a tactic that was used a lot to be able to start over, get a blank canvas. Killing the trees in the Amazon, that was political. They might say it was an accident or natural occurrence. The Amazon was the earth's lungs, and now it's like the earth's lungs are being killed there and here and in many other parts of the world, where they're choosing to, let's build more houses, let's build more of this, let's build more stuff we don't need, like gas stations. Let's build more of this, that, and the other, instead of let's plant some more trees, because they obviously must have forgot in their in their science lessons that told them that trees give us oxygen and we give them carbon dioxide. It was a relationship that was set up since before humans were here, because trees were here before humans were here. Next subject. The DEI rollbacks. And I use rollback because think about Walmart when they used to make you smile with their rollbacks, when they used to have the little smiley face, when they used to have when they used to have better quality products. Yeah, so if you haven't heard by now, today is February 22nd, 2025. So, oh, two, balance. Okay. So if you haven't heard by now, Target has lost $15.7 billion by taking away their DEI initiatives, the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that help give jobs to not unqualified people who would be replaced by unqualified people. It gives basically people more of a chance to get out of broken cycles, to get into jobs that are typically given to people who don't deserve them. So the DEI would give the job to someone who is way more qualified, but because they don't fit the visual profile of what this position looks like, they wouldn't have gotten a job. So I don't think I said that well, but whatever. Um, so yeah, but Target and losing that amount of money is really is that yes. So DEI built this country. My producer helped me out. Thank you. She said DEI built this country. The current leader is living in a house DEI built. Absolutely. But would they ever give credit to people who actually deserve it? That's the issue. So since the DEI rollbacks have been happening, I know I personally wasn't a Target person, so I didn't care about Target. I mean, I did care because a lot of people are impacted with it and their policies, but and especially because of how many products are from companies that are Black owned. So with what's been happening, a lot of Black owned businesses have been hit that were in Target. But the best part about it is we live in a day and age with internet. So you can still find those products without having to support a business that won't support you. So that makes me excited because, yes, we don't have to go to Amazon to get what we need. It's convenient to have it here in 2 days or tomorrow or tonight if we early order it early enough in the day. Yes, it's convenient to go to the Walmart in your neighborhood, but yes, that convenience is letting them believe that they have more power than us. But we have the power, and that's what these recent numbers of Target is proving. That's why the boycott in Alabama worked, and back when they boycotted the bus system. So this is our opportunity to actually make change. And I hope we keep it up. I hope someone doesn't just treat this like a New Year's resolution and they only do it for 30 days or they only do it for whenever. I hope we find sustainable ways to not give these companies that our money that rolled back the DEI initiatives. So that would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, I personally, before this even happened, back during the holiday season 2024, I instead of me going to Amazon and purchasing things from Amazon, this was before the DEI initiative stuff. What I did was I went to Amazon and I looked at the company and I found the company who had the stuff that I wanted. I went to their actual website. Did you know you can order stuff from their actual website? Yes, like in the 2010s, we could go to a website and purchase stuff directly from the manufacturer. I mean that with all sarcasm included. So, with the going to their websites, I felt like it was awesome. I know waiting the whole 2 weeks to get the thing, it just isn't what we're used to now that everything is so conveniently available. But it felt really good to go directly to them and give their website the traffic they deserve. And leaders like Jamal Bryant at New Birth in Atlanta have called for a continuous boycott of businesses that have removed their DEI initiatives. And I believe that that's a great thing. I mean, I really would like to get rid of my Meta profiles, and I actually went as far as to start the deletion process, but I restarted my accounts because that's where my clients are. That's how I reach my customers. So unfortunately, I have to keep them, but I'm not going to overuse them like I was, like with talking about addiction earlier, with scrolling on social media for 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there. That adds up. But instead of me just sitting on social media, I'll go ahead and post my content, excuse me, my content, but they're not going to keep all my time. That's the most valuable thing I have, my time. And that's what they want. They want to keep you engaged on the apps as long as possible. And instead of me allowing them to do that, I'm gonna read more books, go outside more, spend more time with the people I love instead of wasting time supporting companies that don't support us. This one, new subject. Um, before I go to the new subject, I do want to say I am on fan base. I am going to check out Blue Sky. You can check us out on YouTube, your favorite platforms for alternative social media, Discord, and all of that. So do your research and do what's best for you. Just try not to keep supporting people who just see you as a dollar sign. This one says student loans. I already got into it by talking about being underpaid for more than a decade and having student loans on top of this. But going from high school with no financial preparation mentally. Like I didn't learn about finances in high school to know about how to manage these student loans before I got into it. We just knew that if you don't have enough scholarship money, then you have to sign up for this, that, or that other in order to get it. We're getting low on time, so let me go ahead and move to the next one. Oh, this one says things Black, Brown, LGBT plus, and people with disabilities who who didn't vote for this current president. If you fall into those categories, Black, Brown, LGBT plus, people with disabilities, other people of color, and women, and you voted for this president, this is not for you. This is for the rest of us who had common sense. These are the things we need currently. Number one, we need a plan. We need a plan for how we protect our families, ourselves, but how we can work together. Our enemies have worked together and under the umbrella of hate. If we work together under the umbrella of hope, we can actually make a difference in our local and global communities by working together. But we need a plan. We need leadership. We need some strong leadership that can't be purchased by money. So yeah, every that's why we as people of color are set up to fail. They want to keep us separated. They want to keep us from disliking that person or another group or whatever. So yeah, to keep us from being able to protect ourselves from their plans, we need emergency money in cash, especially now with them removing the protections, the consumer financial, go look it up, moving the protections that prevent banks from scamming us. We need more money in cash. We need to be able to pull it when we need to. So go to Black owned banks. Greenwood is a great example of a Black owned bank. There are several of them. Use your resources online, start your account, support these businesses, but also protect yourself in the end. We need life insurance, we need passports, we need global entry, we need survival kits. We need to start growing our own food. And like I said, we do need not just life insurance, but we need health care. And if you are one of those people who prefer different methods of natural health care, you need to grow whatever it is instead of relying on buying it from a store. New subject, being poisoned by the food. Yeah, the food you already know it has the red 40s, the yellow number fives, all of that, and all of these extra chemicals. I'm working on myself and my family personally, being able to remove those staples that we grew up on so that they're not naturally addictive for my kids. Yeah, so eating better, growing more, and being able to be in control of what's in our ingredients, eating out less. I know a lot of people don't know how to cook. Go to YouTube, find something you want to learn how to eat. What you go order from a restaurant, you can find a recipe for on YouTube, learn how to make it, and then you can save money because you can control how much sodium is in it. So now on your healthcare bills, you're not dealing with hypertension, high blood pressure, all of those health issues that run in cycles and families. You're not having to deal with those as often if you're actively taking care of your body. If you're spending more time, like while you're watching Netflix, I'm not saying don't watch any Netflix or streaming service, Do some workouts while you do it. Do some squats before you eat your food. Do some push-ups, something while you watch your shows. All right. New subject, AI. Where do we draw the line? Um, I love I love my chat GPT, but I know that there are other options now, especially with what China has come out with publicly so that we know about it. But use AI to your advantage, but also realize that AI has been replacing jobs. So those jobs that people keep crying, immigrants are taking our jobs and they're coming over here and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you're not using AI to leverage what you already have so that you can get more of what you want. So use AI to your advantage to make a plan for how you can earn more income to spend more time with your family, how you can grow your garden better, how you can start learning new skills, how you can homeschool, whatever it is, leverage your AI. We got too many people who have intelligence for us to only rely on artificial intelligence. So instead of us only relying on artificial intelligence, use your brain and use AI, not just AI. And the last subject, for a month, I lived solo abroad. Well, I wasn't solo. I was solo parenting abroad, um, and homeschooling while working full time and being pregnant. Um, yeah, so I did that for a whole month in a different country, of course, because I said abroad. And that was the most absolute, or that was the absolute best experience for me and my daughter. Besides us getting frustrated with each other because we were just tired. She's used to having both parents, and the next time we do it, she'll have both parents with her. But that was amazing. It was a whole month where my skin color didn't matter. People just treated me kindly because I'm a person. And that's one thing that I believe racists forget. We're people too. And we want the same things. We want to eat good food with the people we love, doing what we love to do, and taking care of our businesses. And yeah, I just want more people to be able to have peace with um yeah, living. And that's why it's been weighing on me, because people are choosing, or the people who chose hate won. And I need the people who still have hope, who want to have hope, or who have hope to work together. Um, I need us to come up with a plan. So my $1 million thinking cap is now empty, and my soapbox has been completed for today. I do feel better, I hope. Um, but next month's episode will be a lot lighter. Just tune in, and I hope you did enjoy this episode. I just think that this earth, this next generation, ourselves are too valuable for us to give up on. Don't forget to check us out, WCEG Network, on all your favorite social media platforms, including Fanbase and Blue Sky. I want you to check me out, and that's Reviews LLC, on all your favorite social media platforms. Connect with me. If you didn't like this episode or you like this episode, make sure you let us know in the comments on YouTube, or comment on LinkedIn, wherever you see this video. Make a comment. If you got a suggestion for something I should talk about in the next $1 million thinking cap session, just let me know. Have a lovely day.